Hey, what's happening, Nation? It's Son Joku. David Irving got released today. It really messed up so many of my defenses I've built over the past few weeks. I was pretty pissed about it, man. I want to get your guys' feelings about it, see what you think. I will tell you right now, I knew there was going to be some tough cuts this offseason. I was not expecting David Irving to be one of them. I thought we had signed, we let him walk, then we brought him back on, and he seemed to be saying everything right. From everything I read, he was putting in work through the offseason. I'm really curious to see what ends up happening with this. But for whatever reason, we did end up releasing him off of this team. And I don't know, man. It sucks. It sucks to me just because the dude never was even really given a shot. He came off his suspension. He had to get back into football shape. We had him on the practice squad. We activated him. He kind of rushed himself. He ended up getting hurt. And then the next thing you know, he ends up getting bounced off completely through the next offseason. And I don't know, man. The dude has a ton of talent. Like, he really does have a ton of talent. And the fact that we didn't even take it through camp just to see what it was. If this was a money move, so be it. If he failed some physical, so be it. If he ended up failing another piss test, I mean, that is what it is. But I don't know, man. I want to know what you guys think about it. I was pissed. I still kind of am pissed. But until we hear more about it and like why exactly it did happen, then I guess we'll kind of end up coming down to that. But until then, man, this move kind of pisses me off. He was a great rotational piece on this defensive line. We still have good depth there. Maybe it is. Maybe it's freeing up some spots for Stills, which, I mean, could be a very real possibility. Maybe he is the next David Irving who's going to come in there and he's going to take a season to get ready, and then he's just going to explode all over the place. And I'll take that in a heartbeat if that is the case. Just want this team to win. I want us to come back and be on top. So, I don't know. It sucks, but I got to delete this little man, and I don't want to really see him go. All right, so he's gone. And then we go back to the defense there. I went out and cut out Rasul Douglas. I honestly still stand behind what I said, that I do not think that this dude is going to make this team. It's just my own personal opinion. But a lot of you guys said I was 100% wrong, that Hayward was going to be playing in the slot, Rasul Douglas was going to be playing in the outside, Mullen was going to be in the other. I know I'm going to catch some shit for putting Joseph over the top instead of Trayvon, but starting the season, I'm still thinking the way that's going to be. And then just kind of having Abram playing that headhunter role. And then up front, I went ahead and brought in Hankins, who casually lifted 1,000 pounds just throughout practice. That little article and story blew my mind, man. And then I went ahead and got Darius Stills. I really think that maybe this move is going to honestly free a spot up for him if he can prove himself through camp to end up making it onto this roster. I put Farrell on the outside instead of Mad Max because I think Mad Max is going to be more of a rotational piece with Solomon Thomas coming in, getting some pressure packages and things like that. And I'm keeping Yannick on the outside just because it's Yannick, and that dude better be playing on the freaking outside. So, I don't know, man. I want to get your thoughts on it. I want you guys to hit me up. Let me know what you think. If you want me to move any of these dudes around, I definitely will. I probably will end up shoveling Morick in where Joseph is in a minute just because I want to see what that looks like. And then Quentin Jefferson coming in for Stills honestly looked pretty damn good. I thought that was looking pretty nice. So let me know what you guys think, man. Hit me up. Big Al, what's going on, dude? Carlos, what's happening? Personally, not really surprised. He spent so much time away from football, and now, yep, the broke his stroke suspension. He had a lot of problems getting in the shape last year. We'll see what it is, man. Oh, cool. What's happening, dude? Stumbling. What's going on? Yeah, little Sean, I'm right there with you, man. Heard it was because he didn't show up to OTAs. It's possible, dude, but these are still the voluntary ones, so I don't know why that would have ended up happening. Cowboys are not going to want him back. This was a bad move. He seemed excited to be a new leader. That's what I'm saying, Stumbling. Like, everything he was saying, everything he was coming out and doing, it seemed like it was going in the right direction. It seemed like he was, like he said, he wanted to be one of the veteran leaders on this team, and he wanted everything to keep moving forward and be one of the foundation pieces that these younger guys could look up to. So, I don't know, man. Leaving Joku, I'm here in Las Vegas trying to see if we can go to Henderson tomorrow. Oh, dude, Michael, man, that would be awesome. If anyone knows, please post when through the stadium. Wow. Oh, man, dude. Take a bunch of pictures out there, dude. I would love to see them. I'm not even going to lie. I would love to check that stadium out. Anthony, what's happening, man? I'm glad you could make it out to the show. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, dude. And then Arden Key leaving and then talking his shit, saying that we were holding him back. A lot of people get pissed off when players come out and they say stuff like that about the Raiders organization. I do not really get too pissed because I kind of feel their pain because one of the main things we sit here and talk about is how Paul Gunther was holding these guys back and they weren't using them to their full potential. Amari Cooper said the same damn thing when he left this team. He was like, no, man, they just weren't using me to my full potential. And, I mean, you watch them go to these other teams and then blow it up and start lighting shit up. And you think to yourself, like, I'm still, man, I'm not banked out on this coaching staff at all. And so, I mean, that kind of is what it is, but I just had to get that off my chest. I think Jerry Jones has no tolerance for marijuana use, even if the league doesn't have a problem with it. Caustic, I'd see that completely. Zeph, what's happening, dude? Joe Q. Oh, man, my favorite Raider guy joke. The King, man, what's going on, dude? I don't know. Like, that's kind of what pissed me off. We had such a damn good rotation, like to the point to where I honestly thought to myself, we didn't get the superstars that we wanted, like through free agency, but we got the right quality pieces to where we built like a true rotation. There had to be something else behind this move. Whether we know what it is ever, I mean, that kind of is what it is. If it is something bad, it'll come out being like he failed a physical, and then you'll never know what happened behind the scenes or any of the other bullshit that went on, just because that's just the way it goes, man. Everybody's protecting everybody, and I understand that, but this move kind of blew my mind, dude. Talking about Irving being cut. Oh, Anthony, dude, what's good? Coaching staff overhaul. We keep bringing back Loser. Look what they did with Carl J. Man, dude, I'm banking on Carl Joseph having a big season. I know I'm like one of the few out there, but I'm expecting him to be very active in the beginning of the season and earning his spot. And I'm telling you, dude, I screw around with these little dudes a pretty good bit. And just putting them in different perspectives out there. When you have Joseph, Abram, and Trayvon on the field at the same time, that's an elite core of safeties. And I know I've said that before, but just seeing it all together, watching those three on the field together, man, dude, that's going to end up being huge. I don't think people understand how good that shit's actually going to be and how fast that defense is actually going to look, especially if you have Kukowski and Littleton playing up front or playing at the linebacker spots just kind of over the defensive line. If you have a defensive line that can generate pressure at that point, this defense is going to be a freaking turnover machine, and I cannot wait to see that. My favorite Raider guy joke. Sorry, I lost my spot there. 805, what's good, dude? What's going on? Honestly, I don't have an issue. I thought he looked slow and what he did play last year. Yeah, that's the thing, dude. It was such a small sample size, and I don't know. Why even take the time? Why spend the money? Why bring him in? Why do all that bullshit if you're just going to end up letting him just kind of go? And that's what pisses me off, is because we'll never know the whole damn story behind it. What's good, Raider Nation? Just watch David Irving is going to the Patriots and dude, wait for it. I'm not surprised Irving is out. I never bought his hype. I mean, a lot of people didn't, dude, and a lot of people, because I did, like, as soon as I saw it, like, I jumped on Twitter, I was like, bullshit, dude, and a lot of people hit me up, like, dude, never did shit for us, man, you need to calm down. I don't know, dude, and I probably did need to calm down, because I was pretty pissed when I first did see it, but once I settled into it, I was like, man, it's just as far as like a depth positional piece, it still doesn't make sense to me, because the dude doesn't have like a huge contract and he was doing all the right things. Carl Joseph is going to be a backup despite what everybody thinks. Dude, I'll tell you right now, I don't know, dude. I'd like to see him start. Rasul, you're out of here. All right, let me move him over here real quick. Shrink him down. This will take me just a second. I just want to see exactly... Casey Hayward, he has to go to the outside. I really think he's going to end up being one of the starting corners. Then you move Carl Joseph to that outside spot, and then you bring in Trayvon, man. And I'm telling you, and this is real similar. It's a different defensive line than what I had before. Dude, that secondary's sick as shit, man. I'm telling you right now, that secondary right there will lock some teams completely down. And if you're getting pressure up front, you're going to end up lighting some damn teams up, dude. That's so much speed, so many hard hitters on the field. Man, I'm telling you, dude, that blows my mind. This defense right here, I'm telling you, has a real shot at being that starting defense, not with Stills. Well, honestly, you'd end up pulling Stills because he has a shot at, like, making the practice squad. If he fights for it and makes this team, I'm all for it. Quitting down there. Get a total big-ass beast defensive line. Just rolling through some people, man. Dude, that thing looks sick. I'm not even going to lie to you. Where's more? I just put them in there, dude. I have a bunch of picks, but I'm on Facebook jail for defending Carr from an idiot to give him. Dude, let me know, man. Send him over when you do. Irvin looks slow getting off the snap. I don't know his ways, but he looks slow to me. I mean, so be it, dude. Hopefully Stills is a steal. Dude, Cameron, if that works out and everybody's right about him, I will take that all damn day. And if it takes him sitting on the practice squad for a year, kind of developing, and then we still have him on the back, I'll take that too. If the kid can show up, it'll be perfect, man. To be honest, Abram and Joseph on the field at the same time worries me. Anthony, it worries me too. But if you have a dude like Morrig, or I mean, honestly, it would kind of have to be Morrig unless you started working somebody else into it who could just take just drop back at that point, not let anybody get behind him. And then you have the corners that can kind of keep up. I know a lot of people have been giving Hayward shit. I forgot who dropped that video, but it showed like Hayward was getting burned. And that is what it is. But if he can play a few steps off, and then you bring Arnett in when you want to get into the press coverage situations, you get more into the zone, you bring Hayward in. But the whole time you have a dude like Morrig dropping deep, and then your other two safeties having Abram and Joseph on the field to where they can kind of play that shallow middle and just light anything up that moves underneath them. You have that deep help still. You have the underneath help because you have your safeties kind of playing in those two little zones. I mean, dude, man, it could work. It could work pretty damn good, and I'm really hyped about it. To release him before camps makes me think he didn't keep his word in the off-season conditioning. Frank, thank you, dude, because I really think that might be a huge part of it. Raiders don't have time for talkers. Action is what Gruden wants. No more talk, just results. It's about damn time. Just don't understand Hurst being cut, though. That one still baffles me, too, man. Irving been turned away from a lot of teams and likely done in the NFL. Al, that's a real possibility. What's your take on all this Julio Jones hype trade? Man, Anthony, I will tell you that I am in Atlanta, and you get very, very little Raider news when you're in Atlanta. But a ton of talk about the Falcons team and Julio Jones and where he is going, and the Raiders keep coming up every single day. I'm talking on like local news networks, like a Fox 5, and then all of a sudden they're talking about their little 5-minute segment. They talk about Julio, and they're talking about him coming to the Raiders. I could honestly see it happening. There's a lot of the back end of that wide receiver room. It's one of the few rooms I haven't broke down yet to where you could trim a shit ton of fat and a good bit of money off the back of that wide receiver room if you wanted to. And you could afford to bring in a dude like Julio. I don't think his price tag would be crazy high. I think you could probably get him for like a second. And I think like if you can get Julio for a second, trim some fat in the wide receiver room, bring him in, I would take that in a damn heartbeat. We'll just have to see if it happens, man. I think Diablo is going to be a steal, man. Zeph, I'm not going to go back on my thing. Diablo has to prove himself to me. We could have gotten a solid linebacker where we got Diablo, but instead we went for another one of these hybrids. I know those dudes the other night were talking about it. I completely agree with them. I had talked about it before that. If you want a linebacker, get a linebacker. If you want to get one of these hybrid dudes, then you're talking about dudes that's most likely going to be playing special teams. And, I mean, maybe that's where Diablo is going to start, because I really think Muse is going to end up getting more playtime than Diablo, just as far as, like, the rotation. But I think both of their playtime is going to be so limited outside of special teams that unless you have injuries, you're not really going to see them that much. Mario, what's happening, man? Joseph and Abram not getting on the field at the same time. Carl Joseph to play as the backup to Abram and or Morrig, and Morrig's first backup will be Gillespie. Dude, I'm curious to see what happens with Tyree, man. I really think that kid's going to make it. That's going to be like the kid that everybody's talking about through camp, about him showing up. He's going to be like when everybody was talking about Isaiah Johnson before he got that face injury. That's going to be the same thing with Tyree, man. I got a lot of high hopes for that kid, and I'm really, really starting to worry about Isaiah Johnson right now. So just, I don't know. There's a chance you end up seeing him get shook off. Nothing there for Julio Jones for me. Now, I mean, just veteran leadership. He can get one or two more years. I've seen him milk the Falcons for just money every year for like the past 3 seasons. Come out, he ends up playing pretty damn good, but he gets hurt like every single season for the past 3 or 4 seasons. Ends up missing like a 3 to 5 week span. Sometimes he'll miss like 2 games. He'll play for 1 or 2 games, then he'll miss the next 3. And it's just, I don't know. You can't have that, man. I like Hankins and Vickers. I really like Vickers. I'm really hoping he sticks around. I don't know if he starts, but he is solid. He's definitely got a lot of PT. Yes, no, he definitely does. Jump down here. I agree. Costas cutting Hurst was a head scratcher. That one killed me, Dan. Tragedy. How are you doing, man? Thanks for coming out. Worried about cutting Mo early. I am for sure worried about that. Joseph is not going to play if Abram's healthy. I don't know, man. I'm telling you guys, I really want to see what this starting defense looks like, because that's 3 solid like starters, man. It's 3 starters on the field that you could have out there, and if you bring in Rasul and then you move Hayward over and you put Joseph up top, dude, like it's a quality second. It's the first time that we've had a quality secondary to where I've honestly been excited and been questioning who was going to start instead of just being like, this is going to be our starting defense next year, because anything beyond this completely sucks because we have no freaking depth on this team and we never have. And so, like right now, just the fact that I can go through this and put these dudes in different situations and have it look the way to where, honestly, if you started that defense, you'd have a legitimate shot of winning that game, even though you have this thing shuffled up as shit. It's a good damn feeling. Like it really is. Irving didn't play a lot because he couldn't get into shape. Red flag for Gruden right there. That's a big red flag for Gruden. We've seen it before. Week after week, Irving not playing because he's not in game shape yet. Yeah. Michael got a ton of Raider Stadium picks. Oh, man, I jumped all the way back up. I apologize for that. Barry, what's going on? Trayvon Morgan, Jonathan Abram will be nasty. David has a chance. He screwed it up. Barry, man, that's fair. I mean, it is what at this point it's done, so we have to accept it no matter how you feel about it. Joseph is going to be a backup. You think we need another veteran that linebacker? If so, who would you like? Man, Frank, I went through the linebacker room the other day. I think we definitely need to bring in one more linebacker onto this team, like a good veteran linebacker, and then just kind of see where it shakes out. As far as who, I'd have to really go through and see who's still out on the board. I wouldn't want to trade for one. I just want to be able to pluck one off the free agency board, and I'm not up to date with it right now, and I'm not going to lie about that. I would like one, but we don't need a veteran presence between Kukowski and Littleton. More as an insurance. Yeah, just kind of like that backup piece just in case. I'm cool with the second. Not a first. No freaking chance like a first, dude. Dude is 30, coming off an injury. I believe he missed games. Dude, he's missed a ton of games, man. A ton of games. Julio's a cheap one season, maybe. You don't know for sure if he's going to demand the big bag contract extension. You know he is. I mean, that's what he's been doing to Atlanta. That dude from Atlanta has made more money over the past 3 seasons just kind of holding out or just signing these one-year deals, just keep going with the team. And I don't blame him for it. Like, I'm not faulting the dude at all. I would do the same damn thing, especially if I was one of the better players and knew every season if I played it right, I can get even more money. Like, I mean, that's just like straight business. Like, you can't argue with that. I just don't want to see him come to our team, end up playing for 1 year, getting a huge ass contract, ends up panning out, like working great with Carr, and then we end up dropping a shit ton of money on him, and then it was like a 1 year kind of thing before he retired out, and then it just kind of went to shit and he was done. Like, that's the kind of stuff that kills this team. I don't want Julio Jones at all. If he was 28, yeah, dude, I'll give you that. Oh, Michael, hey, Joku, if you can send me a friend request, I'll send you pics of the Allegiant Stadium and a couple. Oh, sweet, dude. Yeah, Michael, dude, I'll definitely send you over a friend request. We need to spend time and money on the draft capital elsewhere. Yes, thank you. You think we should move Klee inside? I like playing Klee inside, man. I thought he does it pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie. I talked about it a few videos ago. I think Klee playing on the inside can play the run a hell of a lot better than when he's on the inside. He cannot draw as much pressure as some of the other guys that we do have, but he does get a little bit of interior pressure. And then sometimes I've actually seen him on run plays. He's the one to actually draw the double team on the inside. And then it frees up one of these outside guys, and unfortunately, if the outside guy is Max Crosby, he's already over pursued, and that's going to end up going around the edge, and then they're going to end up getting a big run. But just focusing mainly on Klee, I'd like to see Klee play the inside and outside, but if he played predominantly in the rotation in the inside, I would not be upset about that at all. Instead of Jones, keep the draft choices. You get a number 1 wide receiver in the first round next year. There you go. There you go. Klee inside depends on how the other defensive tackles work. That's it, 110%. Because I'll tell you right now, if Jefferson comes out there and ends up being college from last year, I mean, it's going to piss me off more than you'll ever believe. But you got to at least give these guys a chance and bring them in. I'm really thinking Jefferson sitting next to Hankins is going to be a pretty hard to move interior defense. All we do is getting Jones. Is holding back and possibly ruin Ruggs and Edwards. Oh, man. I will tell you, dude, Bob, Ruggs and Edwards need to be our starting 1 and 2 next year. They have to be. And I know I've shuffled these dudes around and taken a lot of different looks at it. But if you're really going to develop Ruggs and Edwards and you really want those two to be your future wide receivers moving forward, and we planned to do it at the start of last season, but then they ended up getting banged up, and that is what it is. But if they can come out and be the starting number 1 and number 2, you still have Waller, you still have Josh Jacobs in the backfield, you can end up looking pretty damn good. But if you're going to do that, Carr has to work the ball to the outside to get the respect, to open up the middle of the field. Like, it has to happen. John Brown is going to ball out. I have a feeling that he's going to. He's going to end up being, that's the thing, like, the more John Brown balls out, the more it's going to push Edwards or Ruggs to that back burner, man, because Renfro's still going to be getting that play time. Waller's still going to be our number 1. I mean, that is what it is. Even if you have these wide receivers on the team now that could end up being potential number ones. Waller's still going to be that number one until somebody else claims that spot. And I don't see that shit just like happening magically overnight. So I don't know, man. KJ Wright maybe. I doubt it at this point, man. I really think we're going to be rolling with what we got. Give David Irving a preseason game before you cut him. King. That's all I'm saying. Just give him a chance. Give him a damn chance. Brown needs to catch the ball more reliably. Drops way too many. Bob, dude, no disrespect, but that's the same exact shit they said about Aguilar last season, and everybody was so high on him. But then you look at his stats, you really jump into it. Like, the dude still had a shit ton of drops last year. So if Brown comes in and ends up being just as, like, gets 8 or 9 touchdowns and ends up being like our deep ball threat, but ends up dropping the key passes that end up losing us a few of these games, it's a toss-up, dude. And I'll tell you right now, it's a toss-up I don't want. I'd rather just have somebody else out on the field. People say John Brown is good as Aguilar, if not better. He's better. In my personal opinion, I think he's better than Aguilar. Yeah, I think he is. I like Lee on the inside at deep tackle with Solomon Thomas. Dude, that would be sweet, man. I like Solomon Thomas sitting next to Clee in the middle. I do like that. It depends on what you mean by better. Yeah. Way better hands than Nelly. Snide, what's happening, dude? I think they'll slide Farrell in the inside a lot and Jefferson onto the bench with Max on the outside. I'll give you that. I really, dude, one of these dudes, and like in my heart of hearts, I really think it's going to end up being Mad Max, is just going to be like the person that you see come in these key situations. Their only job is the blitz, and you're bringing him in with fresh legs. I'm not saying it's going to limit his play time at all, but I'm just saying, like, on third downs is when you're going to see Mad Max like hit the field. I don't know if you're going to see Mad Max on like being a 3-down lineman, and I don't know. I like the fact that that's going to be the way that it is. Great post. Yeah. Ruggs needs to learn from Renfro. Renfro always gets open and runs great routes. Yes, he does. And he's talked about it last offseason about learning from him and going through and learning his quick little motions right at the start. Brown is one of those guys that drops easy one. Oh, yeah, and catches the tough ones. Yes. We got Drake, too. Our O-line will be straight. The O-line is kind of concerns me, but I trust Cable. And Anthony, dude, I like our offensive line. I'm going to break them down in the next couple days, and I really think that if they hold up, they'll be fine. But over the past couple seasons, our offensive line has not held up at all, and it's been these older veteran dudes getting a huge paycheck. So I'm willing to take the shot at the youth movement and see if these guys can come together, because if nothing else, if they just stay healthy and play together week to week to week to week, it's going to build a continuity like we have not had for Derek Carr in the past 3 to 4 seasons. And it'll help out a lot, dude. It really will. Filling in the rookies are looking good. Dude, risk take, man. What's going on? I'm glad you could make it out. Fillin's another one, dude. I put him right there with Rasul Douglas. Like, I don't think he's going to end up making this team. But if he has a shot at it, like, especially this move right here really kind of increases his chances. But him and Dickerson, I still think we're just wasted money. I think Mad Max is going to go off at some point, if not this year. Mad Max is going to go off at some point. I don't know if it's going to be this year. It's going to have to be all dependent on this rotation. Little Tim will look completely different. Oh, God, yes. Little Tim will look 110% different this year. Offensive line will be decent at least. Might be great. We'll see. That offensive line has potential to end up being something truly special. It's got Leatherwood coming in, playing that right tackle spot. If he can adjust immediately and just kind of not necessarily like lock down the right side, but hold down the right side, dude, an Incognito can stay healthy, you're going to end up seeing a pretty damn good offensive line. Max will play maybe 50-60% of the snaps, not just third downs, though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not just third downs, but like situations like a 2nd and long, you'll see Mad Max come on. Then the third down situations, or if you get into like a 1st and 20 off a big penalty, you might see him come in real quick just to try to get that extra pressure to see if you can keep pushing him back. Kwiatkowski needs to stay healthy. Yes, he does, dude. I'm expecting huge things from Littleton. Who was your first backup for our starting linebackers? I'm trying to, like, as far as they go, I'm thinking Kwiatkowski will be a starter, Littleton will be a starter, Morrow will be a starter, and then behind, I don't know, dude. I know that Gus doesn't run as much nickel as Gunther did, but he still runs a pretty decent amount of it. So, honestly, your third linebacker is going to end up being Morrow, playing behind Kwiatkowski and Littleton. And then behind that, I don't know. I'm really excited to see what Muse can do. I know a lot of people have already wrote that kid completely off. Actually got really high hopes for him. Javen White thinks going to be struggling. Might end up actually making the practice squad. That linebacker room, that's really where I want to see somebody else come in, because a dude like Diablo, like, I don't think he's not gonna come in and be like your fourth linebacker if you count Morrow, just because, I mean, he's gonna take him time to learn this defense, really get into the flow of it. So it is what it is, man. Even though there are no concerns, I'm more excited for this season than I have been in years. Me too. This team, it's just the depth. Like, you finally have depth where if you lose a linebacker, like, your entire defense isn't shot. If your safety goes down, you're not bringing in some dude that you know is just going to get freaking torched the entire game. We have decent depth with really, that's the foundation of how you build these better teams. And I know people have been taking a lot of shit lately, and I've seen it all over Facebook, all over Twitter, about how Gruden cannot build a team. Gruden took Dungy's team over, won a Super Bowl, and then tried to rebuild that thing and ended up running that shit into the ground and then getting fired. And that, I mean, that's a fact. Like, that is a straight fact. You cannot argue that at all. That is how his career has played out. And I will tell you, man, Gruden and Mayock, I wish Mayock had more control than Gruden did, but that's not the way that it is. But I really think they're building in the right direction. I know I talk a lot of shit about him, and I'm really still pissed off about the offensive style that he does run. I think he does need to open that shit up, and I do not think I'm not going to say he doesn't know how, but I'm going to say he's so stuck in his ways that I don't think he's willing to branch out and make that move happen. And, dude, it pisses me off, man. Oh, Francisco, what's going on, dude? I really appreciate that. What's up, Sanjoku? The Raiders defense makes top 15 this year. Josh Jacobs splitting carries with Drake, 50-50. Which Raider wide receiver breaks out? Francisco, I appreciate that, dude. Let's just run through this. Defense top 15 this year. I think this defense is going to be right around that 17 spot, but it's going to end up making a world of difference. Us being ranked in the top 20 is going to be what pushes this team over the top. I don't know if we'll break that top 15. If we do, like, we're going to be like a Super Bowl contender at that point. I'm not going to bullshit you at all. Josh Jacobs splitting carries with Drake, 50-50. No, I do not think so. I think Josh Jacobs is going to be the predominant workhorse of this team. I think Drake is going to end up being like our true receiving back, and I'm really hoping that we brought Drake in to where we can have Josh Jacobs and Drake on the field at the same damn time. I think that is a truly powerful offense and something that I would see Gruden running. I don't understand why he does not run that more. He always puts the Jacobs out there with Ingold and then just runs the power. You put Drake out there with Josh Jacobs, you send them both to the outside. It opens up the entire defense, and then Carr could sit there and pluck that shit apart. And so he doesn't do it, so it is what it is, but I'll see, man. And thank you, dude. Thank you very much. Who do you think will get the most sacks this year? I'm going to put it on Yannick. Like, I really think Yannick's going to end up being like the difference maker as far as that defensive line and generating that extra pressure. And then once teams start shifting over like they've done for years to kind of help on Yannick's side, that's going to end up being what frees up Mad Max and Farrell and even Solomon Thomas to start getting in and making some of these plays. And then if a dude like Hankins or Jefferson can get that in like consistent interior pressure on that defensive line, it's going to blow some shit up, dude. Like, that's when this defensive will actually change. If you can get true, consistent interior defensive line pressure, and you have the outside pieces that we have and the outside rotation that we have, dude, we will be lighting some teams up as far as getting sacks and getting pressures. Joseph, dude, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Love the competition we got at linebacker. They're all fast. They are all fast. But it's who can be fast and still make those plays. Hawaii, what's happening, man? I'm glad you can make it to the show. Depends on when Carr gets hurt. If we are playing weaker teams, Mariota can win. If we are playing the top teams, maybe we lose without Carr. If we're playing like the top tier elite teams, we probably do lose without Carr. But I think Mariota going head-to-head with a pretty decent team, I think he could end up pulling that game out for us, especially if we were on a winning streak. We had that momentum behind us. Carr went down, but I'm hoping Carr can make it through this whole season. Like, we're all pulling for that. Redoing the O-line will struggle, and it'll be Carr's fault. No respect at all, Jerry. What's going on? I will tell you right now, I am not giving Carr a pass for this season. I love Derek Carr more than anybody else in the world, probably, as far as just having him as the quarterback on this team. And I have had his back 110%. But he has everything he needs this year. He has had his chances. I fully plan on him succeeding and taking this team into a decent to deep playoff run. And I really think we're going to be, like, and he's still going to catch shit at the end of the year. I guarantee you. Like, something will happen in that playoff game where he throws a late pick, and they'll be like, "Oh, dude, we would have at the Super Bowl if it wasn't for." And you're never going to stop hearing that noise, and it blows my freaking mind. But it just kind of is what it is. But I'm really expecting good things out of him, man. Max had 7 sacks. Or 7 sacks with his body beginning to so banged up for the true football player. I think he'll get 15 sacks this season. Thanks for watching. Bam, Barry, dude. If Mad Max shows up this season and ends up getting 15 sacks, and then you have Yannick on the other side, and those dudes are both just going off, you're going to be talking about us being one of the top pressuring teams in the league. I'd be so damn happy with that. That's something we have not been for such a long damn time. Our linebackers can run, and thank God they can, because I'm so sick of watching running backs burn us on little flare routes out of the backfield for 10 to 15 yards every time. I don't know if the offensive line will struggle that much. We never had an offensive... No, we never even have an offensive line play together for the past 2 seasons, and it sucks, dude. I like how you have the defense set up. Dude, I love that defense. That defense right there, I'm liking the way that looks, man. 15 too many, 10 would be great. Yeah, dude. How about the right tackle Moses, the Washington? Dude, they did just release him, and I actually do like him. If we brought him in as a piece to kind of play, honestly, to be just in his insurance policy to Leatherwood, just to see how that worked out, I would take that all damn day. I honestly have more faith in Moses than I do in Brandon Parker. Sorry, Brandon Parker. It just kind of is what it is. I've seen what you bring to the table, and Moses has been a starter in the league, so I have a little bit of faith in him, man. Yes, Anthony, our linebackers are the fastest that we've had in a long time. Yes. Does Nate Hobbs see some action this year? I really hope so. I really like that kid. Between Tyree and Nate Hobbs, I'm really expecting those two to kind of be the two that shuffle into the lineup a little bit, like Nixon was doing his first year. I really like Nate Hobbs, dude. Nate Hobbs is going to be the reason that Amik ends up going to the practice squad, because he's going to end up making this 53-man roster, and I'm happy as hell about that. And then, you see one injury, you see us start getting up in a game, and then all of a sudden you start shuffling these dudes in. I really want to see these dudes through preseason. Preseason's going to be a freaking blast this year, just being able to see these guys. I'm super excited for that. Hobbs, I'm pulling for him too in a big way. Hobbs will play, so will Diablo. Diablo, man, I'm still not biting on it. I agree, he's got it, all he needs, yes. Jose, if you can come into work last year out of shape and even show up for the OTAs the following season. All right, Anthony, that's fair, man. As long as the O-line does well, our offense will continue to produce. I'm really hoping that we have a magical QB or cornerback hitting our lineup. Green Day, if we do, it's going to be Hobbs. I mean, we know what Rasul brings to the table. You know what Hayward brings to the table. I think Mullen is a freaking superstar. Arnett, I'm still going to give him a pass, dude. I know I talked a little bit shit about him, and it kind of is what it is. I know he's bad in injury all through his rookie season, just like starting the season with his hand all banged up, and he kept banging his head up, and it just kind of sucked. And then he was down a bunch of weight because he wasn't able to train through the offseason. If that dude's back at 110%, this is pretty much like a fresh rookie year for him, so I'm not going to sell him short either at all. I really hoping that him and Abram kind of turn the corner, take that next step, progress to that next level, because that's a huge part of this defense moving forward as well. Carr's my guy. If we have a top 15 defense and Carr can't take us deep into the playoffs, he will be gone. That's the fact, dude. That is the fact. If Gruden doesn't mix it up in the red zone, Carr will only be able to do so much. Carr needs to realize at some point that he has to just start calling his own shit and then just take what Gruden yells at him when he gets off the field. Everybody's like, no, dude, like Gannon and Gruden used to go at it all the time, and they would argue. They would argue off field because Gannon would go out there and be like, no, yeah, fuck that, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to run this play. And then if it didn't work, he'd get his ass chewed out. But if it did work out, he would just get slapped with the clipboard, and then they'd walk their separate directions. It is what it is. But Carr has to be able to make that differential of being like, all right, we're in the red zone. Everything he calls is complete trash. I'm going to go ahead and try this and just kind of let the pieces fall where they may. This is going to be my last season if I don't win anyway, so screw it. I'm going to go for it. And, oh, man. I would say after the 49ers, but I'm happy we got more. Yes, dude, I am too. So does Mahomes. Has everything he needs until he lost his 2 starting guards. Look at that last Super. Yes, Jerry, 110%. I feel like it's going to shock a lot of people this year with the underdogs running the score up and the fast-playing defense. Polo, it will. At first, it will, but then you're going to see teams who adjust to us, and that's going to be where it really starts to change. Oh, Wyland, what's happened to do? Will Carr run more this season? No, I don't think he will. I honestly don't. I think Carr ran a little bit more last season, but I think that was him, the peak of him running. If he does start running a hell, that's the thing. People do. We want to see him run more. We want to see more plays where he does. That's where you start working in a dude like Mariota in some of these situations. You want to see your quarterback run, and then let Mariota go in there and like fake a run, and then just whip one deep to Ruggs, man. If he catches it, he doesn't. But you just tell him, like, he either catches it or you overthrow it. There's no in between. Plays like that could end up lighting some teams up and just kind of catching them completely off guard. So I don't know. There's a lot of options out there, but I don't think Carr himself will be running anymore. I just hope we don't let off the teams when we start to get the score up or two. Oh God, dude. Thank you. 805, that was one of the biggest damn things that I talked about last year. All these people would come on, or we'd be playing these teams, it would be a close game, and then we'd end up being up by like a field goal or a touchdown. And then all of a sudden we get into this super conservative, just run the clock offense and just kind of grind the whole rest of the second half or the final quarter out. And these teams end up getting the ball back, scoring in 5 or 6 seconds. The next thing you know, we're losing, and Carr's trying to make a last-minute push down the field because we decided to take our foot off the pedal and not push the damn ball down their throat. Oh, man, if that shit continues, I will lose my mind. Like, I will be calling for Gruden's head, like, by week 3. I don't care if we're 3-0. If he's doing that shit, I'm going to be so pissed. A lot of people see Arnett starting at the slot. I would prefer Isaiah Johnson at the slot, Hayward to back up Arnett and cornerback. Ooh, man, I'll tell you, I like Isaiah Johnson at the slot too. I don't want to give up on that kid, but something in my gut tells me you're going to see him getting shaved off of one of these. You got to look up Nate Hobbs on YouTube. He does a little funny interview video with a college teammate. I think it's 2 or 3 years old, but he talks about locking wide receivers up and calls out AB. I need to find that, Anthony. Is that our QB? Carr's our QB, not our running back? Yes, thank you. I generally don't like running. No, I don't like running quarterbacks either. But there's certain plays in the NFL they get a lot more respect from the opposing defense if you have a real mobile quarterback. And there's some of those plays that we do try to run on this team, and it loses a little bit of the pizzazz just because you know Carr's ass ain't taking off in the opposite direction. And so, but a dude like Mariota would, so I can kind of get it in their head. I don't know, man. We had injuries on both sides of the ball last year too. Cable held it together. Yes, he did. Upstate, what's going on, man? I'm glad you made it out. Dax, what's good, dude? Graydon always does for stopping plays. All right, man. That's pretty much where I'm going to wrap it up tonight. Just wanted to bring it out. Want to talk about David Irving for a minute. Want to just continue to break down this defense, see what other cuts are going to be coming. I really do appreciate you guys coming out tonight. I'll probably be back in the next day or two, and I'll probably break down that wide receiver room. That one I've been going back and forth on a good bit, so I want to get your guys' opinions on that. So until next time, guys, I'm Son Joku. Thank you all very much. If you can click that like button on your way out, it really does help me out and keep me growing. Until next time, we will see y'all later.